Saturday Social is powered by EA Sports FIFA 23 with PlayStation.
We're going to start, one place to start, Erling Haaland. I feel like we talk about Erling Haaland a lot, but this is particularly relevant because this week he broke the record for the most goals scored ever in a single Premier League season. So we can have a look at this. Worth pointing out as well, Andrew Cole and Alan Shearer, whose record he broke, they both had 34 goals, which was the most in a single season. That was when the seasons were longer. And also, look at the appearances. Only 31 appearances and 35 goals, which is absolutely staggering. And obviously, after scoring what was his 51st goal of the season in all competitions, this is what he had to say. 35 Premier League goals. A big thank you to everyone for the support. Nothing happens without you all. We don't stop here. It's frightening to think how many goals he will go on to score. But it got us thinking, Joe, about a new feature, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to today compare Erling Haaland with some of the greatest goal scorers in Premier League history. Ooh. Now, the boys have got the 10 highest goal-scoring strikers in front of them, but we are going to show you the list of the 10 highest goal scorers. Yeah. In fact, it's 11, as you'll notice.
Why,
interestingly,
Joe?
The reason it's 11, Smithy, is because Frank Lampard is also included within there. But because today we want to compare him with strikers, we've added Les Ferdinand, who's number 11 on the goal-scoring list and is, of course, a striker. So remove Frank Lampard, add in Les Ferdinand, and you get the 10 highest goal scorers, striker-wise, in Premier League history. So today, we've got the Saturday Social whiteboard out. We've got categories A to E. You're going to have to put 2 players in each category. So you can't put everybody in C. 2 strikers in each category. And at the end, you're going to add in Erling Haaland to see where he sits alongside the best goal-scoring strikers you've ever seen.
And it's worth pointing out, we haven't forgotten about the likes of Ruud van Nistelrooy or Luis Suarez, but these are statistically, as you just said, the top 10
they're minus
in our
hearts,
Lampard.
All those players are in our hearts, so don't get angry about that.
Absolutely. So should we start at number 11 with Les Ferdinand?
Former QPR player with the QPR man. So where are you putting him? I imagine you're a big fan of his.
So a lot of people will be ignorant about Les Ferdinand. Okay?
I haven't even said anything
before we begin. This guy, for a certain period of time, with QPR, I saw him play, and with Newcastle, in terms of complete strikers, and Spurs, of course, after that, it's tailed off a little bit at that point. But in those years, as a complete striker, he had absolutely everything. And the only person who was above him was Alan Shearer, who's going to be quite high up on this. So the thing that will hurt him at times is that people don't remember how good he was because Shearer's alongside him. But in terms of winning headers, being able to run in the channels, in terms of how Haaland is as a player, he's actually very, very, very similar. And he was frightening, absolutely frightening.
He was also in an England era where he was competing with a lot of high-end strikers. When you think of Shearer, Sheringham, Fowler, Ian Wright, they're all competing for those places at the likes of Euro 96. So he had tough competition for an England place.
If he was just behind Alan Shearer, surely he's ahead of all the guys that Smithy's just mentioned, right? Is that what you're saying?
All of those other from that era in that period of time. Yeah, I think he is right up there. Because, Newcastle fans will understand this as well. I would put him. I'm trying to remember which one I did. I think I've got him in. I think I've got him in D just because there's so many quality strikers, and in terms of the overall numbers, they aren't there. And I think it's difficult when it comes to Premier League as well when you're in those first few years. Whereas if you get a whole career in the Premier League, your numbers are going to be better as well. But he was so complete.
In fact, you put him in D after saying all of that.
I just don't want him in here. That's what I'm fighting for, really.
I can't put him any higher than E because there's so many other players that have to fit in.
Because of the competition,
The competition, he's a phenomenal striker, but then...
We can always move them. We can always move them as we go.
So you might drop I'll happily put him in D for now.
Who you got next?
But we've got to compete for the others.
Yes, because I think there are brackets along it in these 10. Michael Owen is next up.
Should we let Nubaid speak about Michael first? You're a big Liverpool fan, of course, so your thoughts on Michael?
Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah.
Let's add that in. I think people have forgotten how good he was, and also his legacy's been tarnished a little bit, especially among Liverpool fans, because he went and played for Manchester United. However, I think Michael Owen, the striker, in his peak, out of all these strikers, I think there's only one that I think in his peak was better than Michael Owen. Wow. But people have forgotten how good he was then.
So do you want to put him in B?
I'd probably have him in C because he's...
Twice Golden Boot winner. I read an interesting article with Michael Owen as well. He said his tournaments, when we was talking internationally, got worse just because of the injuries that he received. If you actually remember France '98, vaguely, but he was so young. They're 18 years of age, and he absolutely burst onto the scene. And obviously, it was injuries and things like that actually he lost a bit of pace, didn't he? With a couple of injuries,
and it was poor treatment and poor operation. Yeah, because it was his hamstrings as well. Youngest player to get to 100 goals as well. He was electric.
Where are you having him, Joe?
I agree. I'd put him in C because I think there are obviously 2 brackets here, but I see that in the list that we have. So I would put Owen there. On his day, at his best, disgustingly good. Scary.
Next up, Jermaine Defoe scored in 17 seasons.
I feel bad about this one.
I'd be honest here.
I mean, obviously right? Obviously there. Like, I don't want to be disrespectful.
Why did you look at me there? Because he's got a Spurs shirt on.
I'm just saying, when I saw the list, and there'll be people going in the comments, why isn't this person that person? You explained that at the start. But if you don't know that, he is the one that goes because, he left Tottenham to go to Portsmouth because he couldn't get in the team. He wasn't starting. So you've got a player in this kind of all-time list who wasn't a guaranteed starter for Tottenham. That doesn't look great.
He's Mr. Consistent for sure. You said he scored in 17 straight seasons, which is a great attribute to have and a wonderful stat. But when you're up against these guys and you'll see the rest of the names that pop up, there's no other place for him than being in E.
Do you know what the best way of saying it is? Ballon d'Or winner in C, Player of the Year in D.
Okay.
You can't. He's a wonderful player, obviously, but you can't put him any higher.
I obviously love Jermaine Defoe, but maybe that's my Spurs bias, so we'll move on.
Robbie Fowler?
Robbie Fowler.
I'm struggling.
Oh, really?
Even as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, but I had to try and discard the Liverpool bias out of there because Robbie Fowler is a Liverpool legend. But again, the list, Michael Owen is a Ballon d'Or winner.
So you're thinking E potentially?
I didn't put him in E. I haven't even said that yet. I've got him in D in my list. Mainly because I was struggling to find another place for him. He was the only player where he could, in my mind, I was like, he could be in B, he could be in C, he could be in D, he cannot be in E. And so I've got him in D next to Les Ferdinand.
Happy with that?
In terms of being a natural finisher, he's right up there. He did score, obviously, a lot of goals.
Both feet as well, good in the
A lot of players
air.
that played with him actually said he was the best natural finisher they'd played with, and obviously of that era. But worth pointing out as well, we are told, just to reiterate, they have to put 2 players in each category. So these are all elite level players.
Get him up then. Where's Robbie Fowler going to go?
I would hint at D initially, but I think we might have to come back to Robbie Fowler.
Okay.
He might have to move.
Thierry Henry's next. I imagine he's going to be quite high. 2 Premier League titles. Golden Boot winner 4 times. Best season was 30 goals. Arsenal invincible. I mean, what a player Thierry Henry was.
No brainer. He's in A. As soon as I saw the name, he's the best striker I've seen in the Premier League.
Yeah, the answer with a lot of these questions is Thierry Henry.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's just stunning.
I think we can all agree with that, don't we? Thierry Henry, what a player.
Tap in. Some of these ones might get a little bit easier the higher you go, I think.
I think it's good that we're moving on because I think we might need... There's going to be a
Now,
reshuffle.
Sergio Aguero, who's next, has actually got the best minutes per goal ratio of any of these players other than Erling Haaland in this list, but any of the other players, he's got the best minutes per goal ratio. Won a lot of Premier League titles as well.
5 Premier League titles under his belt too.
Before we started, Allcott said I've got an interesting take on Aguero. I need to hear this.
So I think over the next 4 or so years, he will look worse and worse because of how great Erling Haaland is and the numbers he will get.
Ooh.
So
Just because he both play on the same Manchester City side, under the same coach, and Haaland's just going to blitz his numbers.
Yeah.
But is that a negative on Aguero, or are we just seeing something that we've never seen before in the Premier League?
They're very different as well. Haaland's a robot. He hangs in the box.
That's liable. He's not actually a robot. He's a human.
Yeah.
He's a really good human.
He's a sensational human striker.
I get what you're saying, sorry.
But I think Aguero, in terms of what he provided to Manchester City at that time, was 30-yard strikes, and he was scoring from all kinds of angles in all the big games. The way City play now is completely different.
We've got to push you for one. Go on, where are you putting him?
I think I put him in C.
Where would you have him?
A.
So if you've got A and a C, do you want to put him in B for now?
Yeah.
Sure.
Go on, next. Let's move on. Andy Cole next. Now, this is interesting for me because I think Andy Cole, of everyone in this list, is the most underrated.
Yeah, 100.
When you think his numbers are absolutely phenomenal. Won the Golden Boot with 34 goals. He had the record before Haaland broke it. 5 Premier League titles. And also, he didn't take penalties as well.
Yeah.
That is the thing, isn't it? No pens.
I think great nous in terms of scoring goals, great long career as well. I wouldn't put him above Les, and neither did Terry Venables in that Euro 96 squad. I think, there's a lot of talk about him sort of needing 5 chances to score a goal. Again, great career. I would put him down here, I'm afraid.
OK, should we move on with the next few to see if there's any movement? So we've got Rooney next.
I had Rooney in B because I had Aguero and Henry in A, but I'm feeling you had Rooney in A probably.
I think... No, I had him in B.
Yeah, I think
so you both put him in B?
Yeah.
OK.
Rooney in B.
Which brings us on to Harry Kane, who equalled Wayne Rooney's
I've made a mistake.
goal-scoring record just now. Kane?
All right, I know. Okay.
Why don't we do Kane and Shearer at the same time?
Yeah,
they're both, in that category in terms of, like, Kane is chasing down Shearer's record, really, isn't it?
So,
where'd you put him?
So I had Aguero in C, I had Kane in B, and I had Shearer in A.
Yeah, I think I had Shearer in B, Aguero in A, Kane in C.
You had Shearer in B?
Yeah.
So have you both got Kane in C?
No,
you had him in B.
I've got him in B.
So you want Aguero in C and Kane in B and Shearer in A?
I'm happy with Kane in C. Kane in C underneath Rooney and Aguero.
C,
I've got Kane in B.
Rooney and Aguero.
What I would say about Harry Kane is he's equalled Wayne Rooney's records and he's equalled his total Premier League goals in 175 fewer games playing in a team that's less successful.
Yeah, but Rooney went and played on the left for United. He played
Harry
on the
Kane drops
midfield
deep,
for United.
exactly the same.
No, but Harry Kane still plays as a striker.
And we are talking strikers.
And we're talking
today.
strikers, 175 fewer.
Goal scorers.
However, I'm Wayne Rooney's biggest fan. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm just saying. Sit on the fence.
If I gave you,
a little bit, maybe.
if I gave you Kane on his best day or Rooney on his best day, who are you picking?
Rooney.
Depends what you want. If we're talking goal scorers and strikers, I'm just making the point that Kane's done it in fewer games. But we need to push on the season.
I think the fact that you're finding it so difficult means that Aguero needs to drop to C.
Go on then, do that.
And Kane needs to go into B.
And then you put
No.
Rooney in A. You're putting. We're still missing.
So
who are we missing?
Did you both want Shearer in A then?
I had Shearer in B.
You had Shearer in B. It's got more goals than anyone. Totally complete. I've gone on about Les Ferdinand. We're all fully aware of how fantastic he is. Shearer has to be in the top tier. Has to be.
I'm a football purist. I prefer Aguero as a footballer.
Why?
Because he's a better footballer.
No, he's not.
Shearer's a brilliant goal scorer. Aguero is the better footballer.
Okay, you're forgetting Blackburn Rovers' Alan Shearer. He scored screamer after screamer from 30 yards. I'm telling you.
Top scorer in Premier League history going in A.
But then where did... OK, so
where would Haaland... I actually don't think that. I think, for me, Henry has to be an A. Shearer, to James's point, top scorer. Kane and Rooney can't split.
If you were to say now, Haaland, just in terms of a goal scorer, where does Haaland go on this list?
He's played for one season. I want to see another.
And we're not talking longevity. In terms of, let's say it's a one big game.
If it's just goal scorer Haaland, he's in A+. No one's scoring more goals than him in a singular game.
James, need to push you.
I can't put him above those two.
Yeah, but you're saying they're saying like, right, this version of Haaland,
forevermore.
But we don't really know if it's forevermore.
Yeah.
But this version, no one's scoring more goals than this guy.
I would put him in B.
Ooh, okay.
I can't put him.
Well, let's know what you think. There is confirmation of the tier list ranking the
Ugh.
greatest strikers in Premier League history. They've gone with Henry and Shearer in tier A. Let us know what you think.